Let's talk now about the scope and sequence. So here you see the 4th grade scope and sequence, but 5th grade has one as well. If you were to click on this title right here, you would get your entire scope and sequence. So let's look at the foundations block. Here we see our pacing guide, August 15th to September 26th. We see that we have what our standards and skills are and what instructional materials we're going to be using. There are 2 instructional materials. One, skills from the MSRC, which are, here you see it in 5th grade, which are the closed syllable, and then you're going to also be doing the long syllable in grade 4. But what you also see is the phonics and spelling as represented from Wonders. So here, closed syllable, working in Wonders with short vowels. Closed syllable, working also with long A and structural analysis of inflected endings. Closed syllable, working with long E and plurals. Long vowel silent E, working with the long I. Long vowel silent E, working with the long O. And long vowel silent E, but nothing here from Wonders because it's the flexible week. And so your 5th grade looks similar to that, except for the phonics and spelling from Wonders is different, but the same scope and sequence from the multisyllabic routine cards. The next part that you'll see in your scope and sequence, and again if you're to click here, and the 5th grade has something similar, is you work here with the pacing guide, and these things come from Wonders because it's the language, reading, and writing block. So you have your district-wide standards-based assessment, what your pacing is, you have your skills and standards, RL, RI, you have language, writing, speaking, and listening. You also have an end-of-unit competency, what students should be able to do by the end of the unit. Here's argue a claim with supporting a perspective using logical reasons. This has been changed to argue because the new standards that come out probably around this December will have argue in it. Even though we are still working on persuasive until the end of the year 22-23 school year, we're still using the word persuasive, but we've changed that key language use to match our WIDA standards, which are represented over here. Here are the forms and functions that you can also see. In order to argue a claim, we're going to have nouns, and our claim is going to be about floods and damages. We're going to have about phrases like according to the author. We're going to have prepositions like after and however. We're going to have verbs. We're going to have some conjunctions and some question words like how, when, why, cause and effects, if, then, and when and then, and because. All of those are functions of language that should be contained in an argument, either speech or essay. And if you look here, you have the 5th grade similar, except for, because the text is different, a couple of these words are also different because what the students are reading in the text is different. If you go to the next part, you'll see the text set, and the text set talks about those 4 pieces of text that we've talked about earlier. The interactive read aloud, the shared read, anchor text, and paired reading. Here you see what the students are reading in the titles. You also see the essential question that it's focused around and the vocabulary that's going to be used. You have an additional piece here, the special education connection or WonderWorks. So it's grayed out because you are not responsible to teach it. However, as a classroom teacher, it's exemplary for me to know what my kids are doing in special education and to hook general education to special education. So as I look at that in special education, I can see that the shared read, the talent show, is the same as what I'm reading. Here it's a 620 lexile, but here it will not be a 620 lexile. Also, for your information, their main selection, the Dream Team, is one of your leveled readers. So they are also reading a leveled reader as a main selection, still getting those same ideas of how do actions affect others to be able to talk about that question to be able to write about, and their writing piece is about text evidence. So you'll see the same thing in 5th grade, different things they're talking about, but also that WonderWorks question. You'll also see your essential question in vocabulary. Notice the shared read is life in the woods. It mimics here. This leveled read or main selection is also one of your leveled readers, and your special ed teacher has that so that they can then use that with your students. This is to help you have that curriculum coherence that we talked about earlier, where if students are going out for special education, they're getting something very similar, if not the same, as what you're teaching, and they're getting what they need at the level that they're able to receive it. It is truly specialized instruction. The other component that you have, and this is an example from 4th grade, is this idea of what skills need to be built, and this will be filled out for you when you see it in your document. Also, what extensions might you need? And in social studies, this one example has no social studies ties. Arts is coming soon, but if we look at the 5th grade, we'll see that the skill building has already been filled out. The extension's been filled out, social studies and arts. If 4th grade, you will see yours as soon as that's filled out. It's just when this picture was taken, it wasn't completed. If you were to look now, I know that it is. So here is your task for the end of this film. In your learning task notebook, I want you to look for Unit 2, which is goldenrod color. So you're going to be looking through your continuum. So remember, when you could click up here, you'll have that document. It's also listed in your Canvas course. And what you'll need to do is then identify an end of unit competency for Unit 2. Name your 3 anchor texts, because you'll have a text set 1, a text set 2, and a text set 3. So what are the names of those 3 anchor texts? Which text aligns with special ed in WonderWorks for Unit 2? And name 1 extension for Unit 2. So when you have that done, you can move on in your course.